So, episode 36 picks up with the public asking if Sammy's going to be truthful about what Cass said about Belle. So, Belle looks a little worried. Everybody's all shocked, and they're like, what was said? And she tells her that Cass said that what Belle did, what Lucinda did in the beginning was messed up, but what Belle did was to Lucinda was worse. And actually, I was like, wait a minute, that's not what was said. I think Sammy maybe got it mixed up or something, but I wasn't sure. So I went back and watched it. And what Cass said was what Lucinda did in the beginning was messed up. But what Belle did was way worse. Not what Belle did to Lucinda, but she was referring to what Belle was doing with Leanne, like with the whole Scott thing. But anyway, I don't think she did it on purpose. I think she just misremembered what was said. So Lucinda was pissed because she's like, "Why did you leave that part out? You didn't tell the whole thing," and she was mad about that. Somebody else who didn't tell everything was Whitney when her sister said her mom loved Lucinda. She didn't share that either. Maya was laughing because Lucinda told when she was talking to Sammy about Kaz, and she was like, Sammy's my friend, she's a friend of mine too. And Sammy was like, she's my best friend. And Lucinda was like, well, it's not a competition. And Maya was trying not to laugh. The next question was for Lucinda and Sean, and they said, because you were the top couple, who would you have dumped from the island? Lucinda said that it would have been Jesse and Tommy. And then Sean second that. And Tommy, his feelings were hurt, you could tell. Well, Jesse was hurt too, but Tommy, I mean, Sean could have at least tried to back him up. Then they got to Leanne and Scott, and they asked Leanne, or the public asked Leanne why she changed her mind after she had said she was done with Scott. And she said, basically living with someone, it's hard to like be done with them. Scott said she told him it was the heart rate challenge that changed her mind. Maya asked her, so if you didn't live with him, would you have been done with him? And she said, yes, 100%. I feel like Scott is giving he's giving Leanne a lot of reassurance, and also after well, anyway, it's coming up, but I think that he does really care about Leanne, and I think the way he shows he cares is like physical touch, and just because I feel like he's really trying, and I just feel like Leanne, things keep coming up that she's trying to get past, but they keep bringing up the past. So the public asked Yaman if Whitney getting into a lot of drama was an issue for him, and he said no, he likes her for who she is, and that's nice. Um, uh, he really seems to like her. I like them together. I know I said that before, but I really do like them together. But Whitney is in a lot of drama. But he said it's fine. He likes it. She's outspoken. He said, I mean, there's some things we could fine tune, and she said in private, and he was like, of course. So I think they communicate well. The public asked Zach why he felt like he needed a challenge, and he said he doesn't really feel like he needs one. He understands that challenges do help couples get past things, but he doesn't really need a challenge. The public asked Belle if she just picked Harrison because he was the only one left in the villa, and she didn't like that question, and she felt like his feelings were hurt, a little hurt. I don't know. I just, they the question for Jesse and Tommy, or I don't know, it was a question. It was more like a statement. They told her that, or they told her what Helena said in her exit confessional interview, whatever, with Maya, that Jesse's there just to get to the finals, and she's shocked, and she's like, "Did she really say that?" Now, am I tripping? But Helena was saying that to her face, wasn't she, when she was in the villa? She said it a few times. So the fact that she's acting really shocked, I was confused. So after that was over, Jessie was upset and she was crying, and the a couple of the girls were trying to comfort her, and she was saying even Sean doesn't, or not Sean, but even Tommy doesn't believe it, because Tommy, when they were at the table and they mentioned what Helena said, he was saying Helena's not. He just knows Helena wouldn't lie, and he thinks that her instincts is probably good, and he's worried about it. So Whitney comes over and tells her, to get it together, basically. This is where Tommy is kind of talking about it, and he says, I feel like if another guy came into the villa, she would be down to talk to him. So Kieran says, well, I can ask you the same thing. If a girl came in here, would you be down to talk to her? And Tommy said, yeah. Honestly, yeah. So that just kind of lets you know there's something missing with those two. And then Harrison and Sean were on the steps talking, and Harrison was like, "You don't think she's here just to get to the finale?" And Sean was like, "Oh." So they think so, as well as Helena. But the thing is, don't we all think that? Like, I thought that Jesse came in there just for that. That's what I thought. Or not that she came in there just for that, but that she picked Tommy so she can get to the end. So everyone's kind of still talking, and Leanne, or not Leanne, Lucinda's still mad about, still mad about Sammy not telling her the whole story about what was said during her phone call or whatever. And Millie, being the mediator she was like, "You guys just don't get along," basically, and she was trying to get her to let it go. Leanne and Scott are talking about what happened, and Leanne is annoyed that everybody's acting like she needs Scott. And she's like, boy, at the table when it was going on, she's like, "It's giving, I'm on my knees, like begging." And everyone was like, "No, it's not that." But I get why she's annoyed. She's like, everything's about like Scott's this and Scott that. You're not the only one in this relationship. And he was giving her reassurance. He was like, he's like, "You're the main character. Don't worry about it." And she's like, "I'm not worried about it. It's just boring." And he was like, "What do you even care? We're probably never going to talk to any of these people ever again." They're just so over it. I do hope they make it outside of this, though. So back to my previous statement about her, Jessie, being with Tommy just to get to the end. I don't know. She's really upset. Unless she's a really good actress, maybe we're all wrong. I don't know. She looks so sad here. Scott's telling Harrison that he kind of feels bad about that question about Belle being in his DMs. But then he did mention their question was, is Scott genuine? So he was like, I got it right back from you guys. Belle was really upset after that. She said she felt humiliated. But again, you're Big Bad Belle, and you went off and you made that comment about him being in your DMs, and with little regards to Leanne's feelings at the time for making that statement. I mean, in retrospect, she apologized and she felt bad, but I mean, you said it. Stand on it. The next day, Tommy's talking with Yaman and Harrison, and he's talking about how he feels like Jesse is kind of just being there to get to the end, and he gets real emotional and upset. And Harrison comes over to like give him a hug, and he's like, "Let's not make a big deal out of this." But Harrison still comes over and hugs him. I think this is when they were talking about how Sean was saying he agreed with Lucinda about dumping Tommy and Jesse from the villa, and how and I think Sean probably feels a little bad about it, but I can't really remember what the conversation was, but I think that's what they were talking about here. Sammy gets a text and it says the girls get to leave the villa and get ready for date night, or they get to go shopping for date night or something like that. So they leave and the boys are hanging out, and then Tommy gets a text and is saying that they'll get video calls from home, so they'll get to talk to their families. So this will be interesting.